April 10th, 2026. The news breaks out of Indianapolis. ESPN's Chiney Ogwumike posts it first. Kelly Krauskopf's front office just made the biggest call of its offseason. And the name at the top of Indiana's list, their words, their highest priority, isn't Caitlin Clark. Monday night, you watched what that decision looks like with the game on the line. Saturday night in Connecticut, you'll watch it get tested again. Here's the paper trail. Early April, a Tuesday. Indiana hands Kelsey Mitchell what the new labor deal calls a core offer. Exclusive rights, guaranteed money. By Friday, it's signed. 1 year, $1.4 million. The only Supermax on this roster, and one of just 3 in the entire league. 20% of a $7 million salary cap, committed to one guard. Nobody whispered it either. Amber Cox, the general manager, put it in plain English in the team's own announcement. Securing her return was our highest priority. Let me be clear about something, because it matters. Kelsey earned that contract. 20 points a game last season. First team All-WNBA. She dragged an injured roster within 1 win of the finals, while Caitlin watched in street clothes. Nobody serious argues she didn't deserve to get paid. The question, the one this whole video lives on, is what the front office built around that contract. Saturday night, you're going to watch the answer play out in real time. Because the play that won Monday's game, the one everybody's still celebrating, is the same play that gives the whole thing away. Monday night, Washington. Indiana's down 4.3 seconds left, and the whole week is hanging on one throw-in from the sideline. Sophie Cunningham's holding the ball. The first read is covered, so Sophie comes off it, fires cross-court away from the design, and Caitlin Clark rises from 31 feet with 1.2 on the clock. Splash, 78-76, skid over. Now watch what happened after, because this is where the highlight turns into evidence. Lexi Hull stood at the podium that same night and admitted it. We were trying to draw a foul there. I can't say that's exactly what we drew up. Stephanie White, crediting assistant Austin Kelly with the design, claimed the opposite. It was what he drew up. We executed it perfectly. And Sophie posted the receipt herself. Didn't follow the plan? Won anyway. Then it got stranger. Wednesday morning, Sophie reversed herself on X. That's the exact play our coach drew up, and we executed it perfectly. Read that twice. Wednesday's post repeats White's Monday phrase almost word for word and hands our coach credit for a play. White herself gave to an assistant. 2 days, 2 stories, same player. When the explanation keeps changing, the thing being explained is usually the sore spot. And the sore spot here is the design. Her own teammates told you, on the record, the shot that saved Indiana's week was not the play Indiana designed. One coaching account broke down the film online and posted that the first option on that play was Kelsey Mitchell. Caitlin was the second read. Treat that as a fan's film session, not gospel. You don't need it anyway. The podium already confessed. So who answers for the design? Not Kelsey Mitchell. She didn't write the depth chart. She didn't choose the late game structure. She didn't put her own name at the top of an off-season list. Players take what's offered. Architects decide what gets built. The architect has a name and a title. Kelly Krauskopf, president of basketball and business operations, back at the top of this franchise since September 2024, running basketball decisions in Indiana on and off since the team was born. Her first transaction ever, December 1999, was the trade that first brought a young Stephanie White to Indiana as a player. 26 years later, that same Stephanie White coaches the offense Krauskopf's front office approved, hired in November 2024 with Krauskopf already upstairs. That's not trivia. That's how deep one person's fingerprints run on everything this franchise does. Cox signs the paperwork. The priority list, who gets the money, who the offense protects, whose hands the franchise trusts at the end. That list comes from the top floor. And in April, the top floor told you, in writing, who sits at number 1. Forget the contracts for a minute and watch the basketball. Yahoo Sports ran the numbers this week. On this Fever roster, exactly 1 player takes more shots per game than Caitlin Clark. It's Kelsey Mitchell, the $1.4 million guard. Last season, she averaged 20 points and 3.5 assists. A scorer, a pure one. That's who she's always been, and Indiana knew it when they wrote the check. The fans see it too, and they're not quiet. Scroll any Fever thread this week. One fan wrote, $1.4 million don't mean you own the ball. Another put it, she doesn't even look up. It's her world. A third said the contract emboldened her. And a fourth swore the role players hoist shot clock heaves so the misses don't land on Kelsey's numbers. That one's fan bitterness, not a box score fact. But bitterness like that doesn't grow in healthy buildings. The frustration's real, the target's wrong. Kelsey Mitchell plays the role she was handed and paid for. The people who handed it to her, who decided a second guard who needs the ball in her hands fits next to the greatest offensive engine this league has ever drafted. They don't take shots. They take meetings. Now put the two paychecks side by side because the gap tells you the hierarchy. Kelsey Mitchell, $1.4 million. Caitlin Clark, reportedly around $528,000 this season under the new labor deal. The Supermax pays nearly 3 times what the face of the entire sport takes home. And let's be honest about the rules, because you deserve honesty. Indiana couldn't pay Caitlin that money if they wanted to. She's still on her draft contract. The new agreement lifted it from $78,000 a year to over $500,000, but she can't touch a Supermax yet. That part isn't on Krauskopf. Here's what is. Pay grades are rules. Hierarchies are choices. The front office can't choose Caitlin's salary, but they choose, every single night, whose hands the offense runs through when it matters. They chose the system. They chose the coach who runs it. They chose to call somebody else priority one and print it in a press release. Monday night, the players overruled all of it, for exactly one possession. Think about what Monday actually proved. The designed play didn't produce the best shot in the building. A teammate ignoring the design did. When following the plan loses you the possession, and breaking the plan wins you the game. Now that's not a player problem. It's a blueprint problem. Blueprints have an address. The office is above the locker room at Gainbridge where the roster was priced, the coach was hired, and the priorities were ranked. Sophie Cunningham shouldn't have to go rogue for the best player of her generation to touch the ball with the game on the line. The fact that she did, and that it worked, is the loudest critique of this front office anyone's offered all season. It just didn't come from a microphone. It came from a cross-court pass. This franchise used to know better. Longtime Fever fans remember. From the day Indiana drafted Tamika Catchings in 2001, nobody in that building ever wondered who the engine was. 15 seasons, a championship banner in 2012, with Catchings holding the finals MVP trophy. Every coach who passed through Indianapolis built around her because that's what you do when a generational player wears your jersey. You don't make her the second read. You don't rank her under anybody on a priority list. The organization that raised that banner treated its cornerstone like a cornerstone. 25 years later, the same franchise put its commitment to somebody else in writing and let the best player it's ever had find out where she ranks along with the rest of us. Here's the detail that should sting inside that building today. Stephanie White knows all of this firsthand. She shared that Fever locker room with Catchings in the early 2000s as a player. She watched, from the inside, what a franchise looks like when it's certain about its star. Nobody in Indianapolis needs the history lesson. They lived it. They wrote it. And the woman running basketball operations today was in the building for every chapter. You know what choosing the spreadsheet over the fit can cost? Ask Oklahoma City. October 2012. The Thunder had a young James Harden and a finals roster, and they moved him over money and structure. 13 years passed before that franchise climbed back to the top. 13 years of what-ifs, traded away in one front office decision about which star fit the plan. Caitlin Clark's prime is not a renewable resource. She's 24. The window where she's the best show in basketball is open right now, this season, this month, and Indiana is spending it making her prove, possession by possession, that the offense should belong to her. Windows don't stay open while you argue with your own paperwork. So here's your test, and it tips off Saturday at 6 Eastern. Fever at the Connecticut Sun. Don't watch the score. Watch the last 5 minutes of a close game and ask one question. By design, whose hands does the ball live in? Not after a teammate improvises. Not after somebody breaks a play. By design. If it's Caitlin's, then maybe Monday night changed something inside that building, and the people upstairs heard what the whole country saw. If it isn't, the paperwork from April still stands, the priority list hasn't moved, and the only people fighting to put the ball where it belongs are the ones wearing jerseys. And if Saturday's game never gets close, fine. Tuesday night, Toronto comes to Gainbridge, and the same question travels with this team every single night until somebody upstairs answers it. Kelly Krauskopf told you her highest priority. In writing. Saturday night, The floor gets to answer. Who does the last shot belong to in Indiana? Tell me what you think in the comments, because the front office is definitely not asking.